Welcome, ladies and gents, to module 2. This module is all about sales copy and messaging, a very, very important factor in converting cold traffic into sales and often overlooked and underestimated. But I want you to pay very, very close attention during this module. Take all the notes you can and absorb everything you can, because there is nothing more important than the sales copy and messaging that you use in your marketing. And I'm just going to dive straight in here, but be alert, be ready to take notes. You can obviously download the slides after, but really listen to everything I'm saying here, because if there's one module you really, really want to pay attention to, of course, you want to pay attention to all of them, but this is the key right here when it comes to conversions. When it comes to selling, when it comes to converting cold traffic, sales copy is the key ingredient, believe me. And I'm going to go through exactly why that is. So in this first lesson, we're going to go through in introduction to copy, the basics of it, cover what it is, why it's important, some key elements, some key factors. Lesson 2, we will look at how to structure your sales copy, so how you can actually write it yourself. I'll include some frameworks and templates that you can just add your own, basically fill in the blanks and use that. And then lesson 3, we're going to go over how to write your own VSL or sales letter. And this is the main weapon that's used in today in marketing. So it's a very, very powerful thing to have up your sleeve. Okay. So without further ado, let's crack on. So introduction to copy. So sales copy can be defined as the words used to persuade a reader or listener or watcher, if you're doing a video, to take a specific action. So that specific action might be for them to make a purchase. Okay. But it's not always to make a purchase, because sales copy is used in everything we do in marketing. It's used in emails, headlines, capture pages. And another example of a specific action, you may not be selling something. You may want somebody to opt in. When you are using a headline and a subheadline, the copy on your sales page, on your opt-in page, you are asking them to give you their email address. That is the specific action in that scenario. So even that headline is regarded as sales copy, because it's all the words, any words you use to persuade somebody, the reader, to take some sort of specific action. Okay. And then messaging. So messaging is really just any form of marketing material. So it's the broader sort of concept. So it's your sales copy, emails, VSL, headlines, Facebook posts. And while sales copy is the specific words that you're writing, the sales copy is actually the words that you use. Messaging is more about the principles and the communication. And we're going to talk about that as well. So just bear that in mind. But very, very important principles here. Now, what is the goal? Excuse me. Let me just erase that. So what is the goal of copy? What is the actual purpose of it? Well, for what we're trying to achieve here, it is basically to get people to exchange their money for your product or service. Another way of saying it is to facilitate the buying decision. Okay. So really, when we're talking about copy, and the whole reason behind it is, when we have a sales page, we want the person or the reader, the prospect, to exchange their money for whatever it is we're selling. So the whole goal of copy is to help them along and facilitate that buying decision. And there's a specific way to do that. Okay, but this is the goal. This is the goal of it. So just bear that in mind. Now here's the thing, as an internet marketer or an affiliate marketer, it's not like you have to be an expert at copywriting, and you don't even have to do copywriting yourself. You can always hire someone or outsource it. But you should at least have a basic understanding of what good copy looks like. You should understand what sales copy is, what it's meant to do, what the whole idea behind it is. Because really, if you don't, then you're in the wrong business, to be honest with you, because it all comes down to this. This is marketing is sales. Sales is the words you use to persuade, and sales copy is exactly that. So by the end of this lesson and definitely module, you're going to have that. In fact, you're going to have an advanced understanding of good copy, because I'm just going to be sharing like the really powerful principles and higher level and advanced strategies behind copy. But first, we'll go through the basics, of course. Now, where do you use it? Where is this? Where is copy used? So basically, you're going to be using it everywhere. You're going to be using it in your capture pages, your emails, your thank you page, your social media posts, everything that you write that is to do with your marketing. You're going to be using copy there. So what you learn in this lesson and the next two lessons, you can apply those principles every time you are going to be writing a bit of copy. Okay. And of course, I'm going to be providing you with all the frameworks, like headline templates, sub-headline templates, openers, even sales letter templates. But this is the key here. You can use my frameworks, that's what they're there for, of course, but add your own personality. And this is the key, okay? Because that unique element is what makes the difference. The reason why direct copying doesn't work is because you have to have that unique twist on things. You have to bring out your own personality in the copy. Okay. It's just like if you copy someone, you won't really understand the exact mindset behind that. So you have to inject your own personality to the frameworks that you're going to get here. So understand the principles, understand the frameworks, and then inject a bit of your own personality. And we can talk about that more, on the live calls or in the Facebook group. And, lastly, for this slide, it's like, don't be afraid about copy. Don't be afraid about writing, because I know a lot of people, they're a little bit hesitant. A lot of people are hesitant to write their own sales copy. They're not, the main problem is usually they don't even know where to start, or they wouldn't know how to write, what to write. But this sort of writing is not that boring kind of essay that you may not have liked in school or work or whatever. This is quite exciting because these are proven. I'm going to give you proven formulas and the frameworks, as I said. So really all you have to do is understand the flow of it, how it works, and then just fill in the blanks, quite literally. So this is like a done with you solution, or it's almost done for you really, but again, must add your own personality. So like I said before, sales copy is often the missing ingredient to the marketing formula. People, they focus on so many other things: the product, the offer, the traffic. The one thing that is often missing when I look at sales funnels and I look at the way they've set up their campaign, it's most of the time it is usually the sales copy or the messaging that they've got wrong. And I would say more the messaging than even the sales copy, because a lot of people are swiping the same sort of sales copy these days, just using everybody else's, copying and pasting. But what they're getting wrong is the messaging. Remember, like the communication, what are they trying to communicate? What are they saying in between the lines? And that is what people are often missing. So it's usually the most difficult part of marketing, but once you get it right, it's usually the most effective also. And by the time you're done with this module, you're going to be a pretty good copywriter. And so you will have an advantage over the rest of the marketplace. And look, just learning how to write high converted copy is something that's going to pay you for life. It's one of the most in demand skills that exist today. I mean, just go into Upwork or Freelancer, or just go into any Facebook group or some community and ask how much it would be how much it would cost you to hire a professional copywriter or somebody who does copywriting for you. And it's not going to be less. I mean, if you want a full sales letter, it's not going to be anything less than $3,000. And that's conservative. Believe me, a good copywriter, easily $5,000, $10,000. And it's not unusual to have the big guys, the real big gurus and the real skilled copywriters at the top of their game. It's not unusual for them to charge 100K or more for one single sales copy letter, because the reason is they know that the person buying it knows that it's going to convert. So once you have this skill, it's like once you understand how to write to sell, then the world is really your oyster, because you can sell your own products, you can sell other people's products, or you can even sell yourself. You can sell your skills as a copywriter. Once you get the messaging right, everything's going to become very easy, because you know how to sell things with your words. It's just about finding something to sell, which is a very, very easy part of the puzzle. And so look, yeah, it's not hard, because basically I'm going to give you the exact formulas, the proven copywriting formulas, the frameworks, and all the templates. All you have to do is absorb, understand, and inject a little bit of passion into it. So copywriting, why do you actually need it? Well, it's like what you say and how you say it is much more important than where you say it. So again, we are often a bit too obsessed with YouTube, Facebook. What should we use? Where should we make videos? What really matters is what you're saying and the way you're saying it. And this is what messaging and sales copy is all about. So in this module, you're going to learn how to message like a pro, like a real A player, and you're going to be using the proven principles which all the top marketers are using. And I want you to notice that once I start telling you these principles, just notice them in your emails, in the sales letters you read, in the VSLs you watch. You will begin to see clearly everything that I'm lining out. And so once you become a pro like this, then you're going to be able to attract more customers, convert more, and you don't have to compete on price anymore. You can actually charge higher, because you are able to attract the exact kind of customer that you want. Now, in order to fully understand the true essence of what I'm talking about, we're just going to dive quickly into the brief history of advertising. So back in the day when advertising first existed, well, look, in order for you to understand why this copy formula works, you have to understand the history. So that's why we have to do this, because the messaging and copy that works today in today's market is different from what used to work. So let's see what happened before and then how we got to this point here. So a brief history of advertising. So back in the day, I'm talking early 1900s, or when advertising really began, there was a lot less choices. Obviously, there was no internet. There wasn't even a TV. And so there was a lot less choices. And so it was easier to reach your target market and to get your target market to actually listen and pay attention. And also, you have to think about it like this. Back in the history, advertisers were very much marketing to people's needs. Okay, everybody needed food or bread. Everybody needed basic medicine. Everybody needed clothing, shelter. The basic needs is what you were marketing. Now we live in an era where those needs are more than fulfilled, and we're so technically advanced. We're so intelligent that now it's about wants. So now it's about what people want. Okay, well, it's about cars. It's about systems. It's about having a better body. It's about, I don't know, being a vegan. It's about the latest perfume. So these are wants. These are not things we actually physically need, as opposed to back in the day when people needed. There was a real need for you know people to stay warm or something like that. So, you know, another thing that it used to be very easy just to say, hey, you know, we sell bread, we are 10 pence cheaper than the shop down the street, or our supermarket charges, or our, you know, we sell this cheaper than them, or we give better than this. It was very easy to just compare with the competition because there was less competition, and it was an easy tactic. It was very simple. Now obviously, just look on, you know, look on the Facebook, look at your target market, how many different options they have, how many times they're marketed to, so many different people competing for their attention. So next, you know, after this period came TV commercials. Now TV commercials changed everything. It's literally, you know, it was the driving force behind things like Coca-Cola, Cadbury's, Ford, and these companies that really just blew. And the thing is, there was no internet, there was no social media, so TV commercials, it was very, very easy. You just had to basically make something memorable, appeal to the masses, and again, very, very low competition. So really, whoever had the highest ad budget had more success. So think about Coca-Cola. They had the highest ad budget, they were on the commercials, and, you know, with less TV commercials, while they're relatively new, people would really pay attention. It was kind of a new thing, and now we kind of have ad blindness. You know, TV commercial comes on, we take a break, or we've learned to ignore commercials, but it didn't used to be like that. So they used to be very, very effective back in the day. And this is back when, you know, slogans and jargon and things like that used to work very well, because all it really took in order for you to advertise properly was to be kind of memorable and a little bit different, you know. And so that's why little slogans and little rhymes and funny little adverts and that used to work really well. And now it's very different now. So you can't just state the obvious. You can't just say that I have the best product, or I have the highest converting funnel, or I have the best system. You know, like I said, it's a totally different era. We're in the internet, it's digital. People are ad savvy now. They know exactly how to ignore your ad. They're not going to pay attention to you if you're just using the same old jargon. You have to really think deeply about the way you're messaging. Okay. This is where we are right now. And this is exactly how you do it. You use the AIDA formula, a very um, a very well-known formula, but I'm going to have a slight twist on it, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Okay, let's jump straight into it. So I actually call it the AEDA formula. Bringing us up to speed today in 2020, this is the modern marketing equation. So before, TV commercials worked very well, billboard ads, now a lot more complex. But again, you just have to understand this formula and you'll be fine. So the first step in the formula is it's attention. So obviously we need to get our prospects to pay attention to whatever it is we're saying. We need them to pay attention to our marketing message. So how do we do this? Well, this is achieved through headlines, okay? Mainly headlines. Um, I'm going to provide you with a lot of different headlines, templates and examples, but it's very important that you understand this. We must be able to grab our prospects' attention, because this is the first step. This is the first step to the formula. So we can use a whole bunch of different types of headlines and so forth, but you must always think, how can I get their attention? And we're going to go deep into this later on, but just remember, the first step is always attention. You know, if somebody browsing online, they're seeing so many ads, they're seeing so many different uh, commercials, they're seeing so many different videos, posts, emails. What is it about yours that's going to really make them sit up and pay attention. Now, the second step, we're going to engage them. Okay. Very, very important. So, first step, you have their attention. Great. They're locked in, they're listening. Now, once you have the attention, you need to actually hold it. So, what we do here in the engage phase, the purpose of this phase is we give them the information that's going to help them make a decision. So, once we have their attention, the engage phase is all about we have hit upon a relevant topic to them, so they're listening to us. So the way to engage them is to let them know that what's about to come next is a whole bunch of information that's going to help them make a decision and potentially solve their problem. And this is where we use some emotional factors. The next step, educate/desire. Okay, so in this stage, in the previous stage, engage, where we are giving them the information and hitting upon their emotional buttons here, which we're going to talk about later. So the whole thing with the intention and engage is we want to trigger some emotion in them. For example, if somebody's having some trouble with their or desires to lose some weight, in these stages, in the intention, we could say, are you sick and tired of or are you embarrassed of your blubbering belly fat, for example? It's a painful, it will grab the attention for somebody who is concerned with their weight. Or are you sick and tired of not being able to fit in that dress? There's one maybe targeted at females, so we have their attention, and then we engage them. So we say, we've now told them that we've now addressed their pain, that are you tired of being overweight, for example? Well, here is a three-step proven guide for losing weight in less than 30 days. So we've engaged them there because we've given them a piece of information that says what's below this is the answer to your problem. So they're going to keep reading, okay? Or they're going to keep listening. And then at that stage, now we need to use some logic. We need to educate and desire them. So we need to educate them and create some desire. And the way we educate them is we explain how we are the number one solution, how we are the answer to their problem, and how our product or service can benefit their current situation. And the final step in the formula is, of course, action. So we actually need to get them to take some sort of action. We need to either get them to buy or download our guide, sign up to our newsletter, whatever. We need to get them to take the next step in the marketing journey. And so this formula is the key right now. This formula is the key in 2020 to advertising. So just remember it. And we're going to go in depth in this as well. I'm not just going to leave it here like you'll see in other places, but I'm going to break down every single step. So, understanding your prospect and how they see the world through their eyes. This relates to all these steps because you can only achieve these if you truly understand your prospect. Now, this is a very, very important slide here. We're talking about, I previously mentioned just briefly about an emotional trigger, and we're going to talk here about psychological hot buttons. Okay, this is a very, very important factor in marketing. So if we see it like this, a psychological hot button is basically it's an emotional trigger that will resonate and be relevant to our target market. So where previously I just said about the weight loss thing, somebody who is looking to lose weight, if we talk to them about not being able to fit in a dress or something like that, or not being able to put the tray down in an airplane, That's a psychological hot button for them. It's something that triggers an emotive response and makes them pay attention and dial in. So usually used in headlines. Now, I'm going to take you through exactly how we can use psychological hot buttons in your marketing in order to effectively convert leads into sales. All right. So check this out. Your prospect, they have 3 phases. They have 3 states of mind. Okay. One is dormant. The second is active. And 3 is observant. Now, it's very important that you understand each one of these phases and how you can enter, or how each phase is relevant to you. Okay, so your prospect has 3 phases. Now, the dormant phase, this is where your prospect, they have ad blindness. They're not engaged, they're not emotionally invested, they're dormant. So this is very much like when you're opening your email inbox, you have a ton of emails, you're not really paying attention to anything, nothing jumps out of you, you're scrolling through Instagram, you are dormant. You're not emotionally involved in whatever that message is saying to you. And in this state, this dormant state, you're never going to get your prospect to buy anything. You're never going to get your prospect to take action because they're not motivated. The reason they're not motivated is because they're not emotionally invested in whatever you're saying. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So just remember this, the dormant phase. The dormant phase is not good for marketing. Okay. The active state, here they are engaged. We have got their attention with something relevant. A active state is when we have piqued the interest of our prospect. We have engaged them with a relevant bit of content and they are now listening. They are sat up, their ears are perked. They are emotionally involved in whatever we are saying. This is the state where we can sell. We must get our prospects from dormant to active. Okay, very, very important. How do we do that? Well, there is a third phase, and this is called the observant phase. And this is a constant state. This is a constant state of the mind. And what it is that our brain is always constantly scanning the environment, scanning with the eyes, the ears, for things that are relevant, things that may help our situation, or things that may be problematic, or some sort of curious thing. For example, when you're scanning through a newspaper, you can use this as an example. Like when you're on a website or you're scanning through a newspaper, you see some ridiculous headlines like I don't know, I saw one the other day about a dog and something like that. It was quite curious, so it gauged my curiosity and my observant state. My observant mind was looking out for anything like this. So the goal of marketing is to get them from the dormant to the active state. That's the whole goal of our marketing and our messaging. Okay. Let me say that again. The whole goal of your messaging is to get them from the dormant state into the active state. And you do that by activating the observant state. Okay. We can achieve this through hot buttons. So we need to appeal to the observant state when the brain is scanning and looking for things. And this is what allows us to activate them. And we do this through the use of emotional or psychological hot buttons. So how does this work? So a hot button, it's an emotional trigger and it's important and relevant to them. So let me just break this down again. So we have our prospect, and they are in a dormant state right now. They're just scrolling through, but we have identified a hot trigger for them. For example, we are saying in the weight loss in the weight loss niche that a hot a a hot button for somebody who wants to lose weight is perhaps that they are unable to fit into, or they're unable to have this the summer body. They're unable to wear uh you know unable to have the beach body that they desire. This is something emotional, because this is something to do with self-esteem. It's something to do with their personal image. It's not a logical thing, it's an emotional thing. And so this their observant state the observant state of mind, which is a constant, remember, this will pick up on a hot button. And what it will do is, when the brain is scanning, and we've said something here about having a beach body, it's going to instantly turn from dormant to active. We're going to have them engaged. We have their attention, because we've just used something relevant to target them. Okay. I hope that really makes sense. I mean, it's kind of like this course right now. I knew that you guys were really struggling, or would like to know exactly how you can turn cold traffic into leads and customers. Mainly because people just kept asking me, how is it actually done, or what's the truth behind it. And so I used the hot button of targeting you with relevant content. I asked you and targeted you on the fact that you're tired and basically fed up of just going around in circles with the same old crap, not really knowing how the actual process for converting traffic works, right? So there's proof that it works right there. I mean, the fact that you're here watching this is proof. And let's continue upon that. So a hot button, it's usually using pain. So remember that people, they always want to avoid pain more than that. People will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. Always remember that. So a hot button always, not always, usually, but not always, is somebody's pain point. So we can find the hot button we can identify the one thing that's causing them the most pain or frustration, problem, etc., and then address it in your marketing. So we just went through the thing of the weight loss one. So we can do another example. Let's say people who affiliate marketers. Well, let's say, yeah, affiliate marketers, their biggest pain that affiliate marketers usually has, the biggest pain that affiliate marketer usually has is they either don't know how to, they don't know how to actually get sales, or they don't know how to get traffic or generate traffic, or really how to turn that traffic into sales. So, I would make a list of these points and then begin to address them in in the messaging, in whatever I'm in the piece of copy that I'm writing. So it's usually the headline. We use the hot buttons in the headlines. So for affiliate marketing, we would say something like, I know that always an affiliate marketer, they are always struggling or looking at new ways to get more sales, more leads, more traffic, or how to convert leads into sales. These are their hot buttons here. A lack of sales, or they're finding it hard to build their team, or find traffic that actually works, actually gets them sales. So these are the things that I would identify and then address in my marketing. I hope that makes sense, because that's extremely powerful stuff. This is the key thing about hot buttons. Okay, I don't want you to. A hot button is not just like something shocking and just to catch their attention. It actually has to be relevant to the target market. And let me explain what this means. So, for example, if I was to post now in my marketplace or our marketplace, hey, I have $1 million have $1 million method, it will get a lot of attention. It's a hot button, so we have a lot of attention. People are going to want to know why, but if there's no substance there, we're going to fail to engage them, which is step 2. But if I say it like this, here's a better way to say it. Here's $1 million method using a simple 2-step funnel and one easy free traffic source. Now, why is this better than that? Because I'm using my hot button here is relevant to my target market, because my target market, they use funnels. Okay. My target market, they are users of funnels. They use traffic. So here, I'm not just targeting people who want to make $1 million, but I'm using people who understand and use funnels, sales funnels. So affiliate marketers, and also people who use free and paid traffic methods. So you see how a relevant hot button is much more effective than just an ordinary hot button. Okay. Very important stuff. And as I said before, hot buttons are usually used in the headlines because that's where we catch their attention. So we always want to engage them with relevant content, because this is what gets them in the emotionally invested active state. Once we've achieved that, we can then create engaging and educating content in the body. Now, here we start learning the key principles behind copy, the psychology of copy, how it works. So here's 6 very important factors of buyer behavior. So always keep these in mind whenever you're trying to write a bit of copy, or when you're messaging your prospects. So you always want to be using HPV, which is higher perceived value. So remember this: every human being wants the best deal, or they want a good deal. Okay. Now, do not confuse a good deal. A good deal does not mean a low price. Okay. Yeah, this frustrates me to a very high level, because people just always think the best deal is the lowest price. I got a good deal. It's not that. The good deal, the best deal, is where you get the most value. Okay. So you want to structure your deal and position it with the highest perceived value. So you don't talk about price here, but you actually talk about what they're getting. So if they're spending like $50 on something, but they can use that software or that guide to turn around and generate X amount of leads or whatever, the return on investment is going to be a lot higher. And so they're actually getting more value into that, so that's how you have to think about it. People always want the best deal. So you don't have to talk about that you have the lowest price, in fact, avoid that, but you are giving away the most value. You're giving away the most content. You're giving away the best bonuses. You are giving, if you think about it, in your sales pages and your whatever, you can value stack with a lot of bonuses. You can help them, you can give them your personal time. Just always add value, stack more value. Factor 2 is a pain bias. So remember, people people are loss averse. The term is called, which means they will always do more to avoid the pain than to actually gain a pleasure. So people are risk averse, or pain averse. They don't want to lose. So always think about, the first question you should always be asking is, what is your prospect's number one pain? Buying decisions, people always buy with emotion, and they justify it after with the logic. So remember, try and get them in that emotionally invested state as early as possible. Factor 4 is unique angles. You must separate yourself from the competition and stand out. All right, because you have to give them a reason to go with you and not anybody else. Number 5 is you want to create extraordinary value. So you want to be remarkable, and it's kind of like ties into to factor 1, where you want to add as much value into your offer as possible. Number 6, factor 6, benefits versus features. You can name all the features you want about your product. It doesn't matter. Your buyer, they're looking at what the benefits are for them. For example, let's say, let's say you're selling a course on, let's say you're selling a course on how to drive more traffic. Okay. The benefit, the feature, let's say the feature of your product is you have a plugin or something. Okay, cool. That's, I have a really cool plugin. Okay, that's cool. But what's the benefit? Well, the benefit of the plugin is that it enables you to get tons of traffic to your website, tons and tons of traffic. All right, well, cool. That's a cool benefit. But the real key is when you do focus on the benefit within the benefit. Okay, now this is a key concept here. So in the scenario I just talked about, the feature here is the plugin that enables you to get lots of traffic to your website. The benefit is that you get lots of traffic to your website. But what is the benefit of that benefit? Okay, I know it sounds a little bit like Inception. Well, the answer is if they're able to get a lot more traffic to their website, they're able to get more leads. They're able to get more leads. They're able to get more sales. They're able to get more revenue. They're able to get more profit, which ultimately leads to the biggest benefit of all, which gets them closer to their desire of being financially free. Okay, so always think about the benefit within the benefit and go deep on that. So those are the 6 factors. Now we go on to the core elements of copy. So I really hope you're writing this down because this is very, very high level stuff. Okay, so here are the core elements of copy. You have to remember that sales copy, it's a very extensive subject and you can literally spend a lifetime on it. You've always got to be learning. I love learning about it all the time, but this is almost like a crash course, especially in this first lesson. So I'm going to go through here the core elements of copy. So when you're writing your copy, you really just want to have one big idea, one big focus. So, if you're releasing a course or a brand new funnel or a system, you just want to focus on the one big idea. You don't want to be everywhere with that one big idea. For example, my big idea here with this was teaching people how to turn cold traffic into customers. That was my big idea, and that's what you need to hone in on. So you always want to be sincere and authentic, particularly in this day and age. It's very easy to get scammed on the internet, but you always want to be truthful. You don't want to make any crazy claims. You don't want to say anything unrealistic. You want to be sincere and always try and write or speak from the heart and from a place of respect and value. And of course, you always want to be unique. So as I've said before, I'm going to give you the templates, but try and bring your own personality into it. So here's the thing with copy, and this is an important thing to remember, guys, that you have to have some swipe files, you have to have some templates, and that's why I'm giving them to you. It's very difficult just to start from scratch, especially if you haven't really studied this stuff. So I'm giving you those templates, but try and inject your own personality into that, because that's what's going to make the difference. It's a core element of copy because it will come through, and you'll see how later. Now, another core element, always be asking yourself, what's in it for them? So you really have to put yourself in always ask yourself this when you're writing sales copy or you're writing anything. Try not to talk about, in fact, do not speak about yourself, how great you are, how great your business customer is. Just ask yourself, what is in it for them? How can you benefit them? How can you help them? That's the key thing you really want to hone in on here, is write it from their point of view. Okay. Like previously we talked about the benefits versus the features. We want to speak very clearly about what's in it for them and how it can benefit them. Less about yourself, more about them. Use storytelling. All right. From birth, from childhood, we've always been more attracted to stories. We've always been interested in them. And so always use the art of storytelling. You can use an attractive character. and you can bring it to life. So we're going to talk about this more later, but always try and use storytelling in your marketing as much as you can. It's a very, very effective way to get people to engage with the story and to follow you, because people love stories. Okay, so make sure you're always just checking out recent fiction, or thinking how you can use your own personal story in your marketing. Another thing is to make it flow logically. All right, you don't want your copy all over the place and all disjointed. There's a slippery slope method called by Joseph Sugarman, and he basically says it's almost like your copy should be like a slippery slope, so they should just slide from one to the next without any sort of objections or clogs in the way. It should flow from one logical point to another, so it should flow effortlessly. Obviously, we're going to talk about this in the next lesson because that's the structure of copy, but just bear that in mind. And finally, you want to write how you speak, so keep it conversational and authentic. So you don't want to get too formal, you don't want to even get too informal, but you really want to keep it conversational. And the same way that you speak, try and communicate that in the same way that you write, because that's going to be key to being authentic and relating and getting your prospect engaged. And finally, the final 2 points, you really want to be solving their problem. So remember, everybody has a pain, a frustration, and a problem. And why is your offer, why is what you're selling, or why is what you're telling them to do, why is that the solution? What makes it the number one choice? And that's a core element of copyright there. And of course, we've talked about this already quite a bit, but you want to be triggering those emotions. You want to get them emotionally invested. Identify the pain points, and I put another example here: a lack of leads for their business. That's a big pain point in our industry. So think about these when you're writing copy. Now, it's always important to really get inside your product. So you must know your product. So you have to really have a deep understanding of what your offer is. So a lot of the time I see people, they're jumping on various programs because their sponsor told them to, or it looked good or sounded good, but they don't really know it at a deep level. And so you must understand and dive deep into whatever it is you're selling and really focus on what those benefits are. Because when you become highly involved in whatever it is you're selling and passionate about it, passion is one of the best ways to sell, and so try and be emotionally invested yourself in what you're selling, because that passion is always going to come through. Next step, you want to know your customer. So you know your product, now you're passionate about your product, you know exactly what you're selling. This is very important before you start writing copy, because you obviously want to know what it is you're selling. You want to be an expert at it, you want to be passionate about it, you want to be motivated about it. Now, second step is really knowing your customer. You want to really crawl inside their head, understand them at a very, 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 very deep level. Get absolutely crystal clear on this, exactly who they are. You want to deep dive. So you want to be asking things like, what are their deepest, darkest fears? What do they really fear? What keeps them up at night? What are they afraid of? What is causing them pain? And then on the other side of that, you want to know what makes them get up in the morning, what gives them the motivation, what are their goals and dreams and desires. And this is something you need to really understand at a deep level. And I've created an ideal customer document where there's a framework where you can identify your ideal customer. But it's very important that you get really clear on this, because if you don't know who your customer is, then you don't really know who you're writing for. And so it's another reason why just copying and pasting doesn't work, because you have to know your customer on a certain level. So take this on board. And then, of course, we must use the AIDA formula. So we're going to talk more in depth here about the AIDA formula, Before we just skimmed it, but here we're gonna really go a bit deeper into it. So let's break this down. So when you're writing your copy, when you're doing your messaging, this is the formula you want to use. So attention, you want to grab your prospects' attention with the use of using headlines. Okay. And you're going to receive a bunch of headlines. You can use them as templates. Step 2, you want to engage them. So you must create an interest within them. And this is used through subheadlines. Then educate, a desire for them to take action. This is the body part of your copy. And then action, we're going to make them an offer to turn them into a customer. And this is a call to action. Usually happens at the end of the messaging. All right. So let's talk a little bit about attention. Okay. Now, when we talk about attention, you really want to you have to give them a reason to stop. You have to give them a good enough reason to stop whatever there is they're doing. Remember, a lot of marketing is intrusive. We are invading their personal time and interrupting their thought pattern. So remember, here we can identify and target their emotional hot button. So we do this using an attention grabbing headline. So here is an example of attention grabbing headline, talking about the affiliate marketing niche. So I'm going to show you 2 headlines here, and we're going to see one that's not so good and one that is quite good. So headline 1, Dave's special affiliate marketing guide. Headline 2, are you sick and tired of your lack of sales with affiliate marketing? Now, which one do you think is more effective? Say it out loud. Okay, let's see if you're right. It's headline 2. But why? Why is it better? What makes this one better than the first one? If we go back here, Dave's special affiliate marketing guide. Are you sick and tired of your lack of sales with affiliate marketing? Why is it better? Well, firstly, it's about them. Okay. It's not about Dave. It's not about me. It's about them. So it's relevant to them. It's what's in it for them. Remember? Secondly, it's targeted to struggling affiliate marketers. This is our target market in this case. So we are appealing to people who are basically fed up of not getting sales in their affiliate marketing. All right. Thirdly, it identifies a real problem, a lack of sales. This is the problem. This is their pain, their emotional trigger that we've hit on. We've got them in an emotional invested state by using the emotive language, sick and tired. They are fed up, they are just, they've had enough. They're fed up. They're sick and tired. And of course, it incites some curiosity. By asking this question, are you sick and tired? We're asking them a question where we're making them curious. We're subtly suggesting that we have the answer, so they want to keep reading. Now, secondly, we have the engage. Okay, so once you have their attention, you need to hold it. You need to keep them reading. So now it's time to start delivering on the promise or the suggestion that you made in the headline. We can do this by using the sub headline and by using the what's in it for them principle. So here's an example. If the headline is, are you fed up of not being able to get sales in affiliate marketing? Then the sub headline would be, here is a proven step-by-step guide to get regular affiliate sales without owning a website. So you can see here, the sub headline, it delivers on the promise that we made in the headline. In the headline, we kind of suggested, like, we have something for you if you are sick and tired of not being able to get sales in affiliate marketing. Well, the sub headline is going to expand on that slightly and say, well, look, here we have a proven guide or a proven system which is going to help you get regular affiliate sales. And this is telling them that after this, we're going to give them the information they need that can solve their problem or their frustration, whatever the current problem they're dealing with. So again, we're just getting them down the slope, telling them to keep reading, to keep going on. We're having them engaged. Okay. So the subheadline and the headline, they work together to interrupt and engage the prospect. So here are some further examples right here. So the subheadline and the headline, they work together to interrupt, grab the attention of our prospect, and also to engage them. So here are some examples so you can see exactly how this works. All right. Now check this out. Here is an example of a headline. This is the attention part of the formula. Need to sell your online course. Okay, this is grabbing the attention of people who are looking to sell an online course. Now it's time to engage them. Now we have their attention. It's time to engage them. Okay, cool. Let's go. Simple 2-step funnel is the easiest way to sell your online course and takes less than 5 minutes to set up. Ooh, okay. So look, this is curiosity in the headline. It's emotional. It's relevant to them. Selling their online course is going to be good. They need to do it. They're emotionally invested in their course, of course. So you have them there. You have their attention. You've hit a hot button. Now we've engaged them by giving them some information. We're telling them that we have the answer to their solution. Sorry, we have the solution to their problem. Excuse me. So we have a simple 2-step funnel. We're starting to deliver on what we've suggested in this headline. So in the subheadline, we're basically inviting them to read the rest of our sales copy or watch the rest of our video, because we have ahead of them lies the information they require to solve their big problem. I hope that makes sense. Here's another example. This headline gets the attention. 99% of affiliate marketers fail to ever make a penny online. It's targeted, it's relevant. We used a powerful statistic here, and we are saying to them that most of you guys never make a penny online, and this is obviously painful. This is emotional. For this will cause them to be emotionally invested and pay attention. And now the subheadline, we're going to get them engaged. Now you can become the 1% with this little known secret playbook. Well, wow, look, how good does that sound? If you're an affiliate marketer and struggling to make money online, you're looking at this, it's got your attention, and now in the subheadline, you're being told that you can actually become part of the 1% by using this secret playbook. Well, of course you want to know more. Okay, you're engaged now, and you'll go on to watch the rest of the video or read the rest of the sales letter, and at the end, you have the chance to make the sale or get the action. Now here's the third example. This headline, which is getting the attention part of the formula. Worried about being scammed when buying traffic. Now, a lot of people, they're worried about online scams, this and that. So obviously this is a relevant headline for people who buy seller ads or other traffic. And once we have their attention with this, and also using the worried, this is an emotion, of course, is an emotive word, worried. So then we engage them with well, use this solo ad checklist to protect yourself with every purchase. And then we go on to perhaps tell them about the benefits this checklist will have for them going forward, save them so much money, save them heartache, end their worry. And then at the end, they can download the checklist for maybe $9, maybe for free, if they give us their email or we tell them to do something. The point is we exchange something there at the end. Okay. Now, next step, we've now got their attention, we've engaged them, and now it's time to educate them. Okay. And also, we want to create the desire for them to want to solve their issue using our solution that we're selling. So, this is achieved in the body of your copy. So, we've talked about the headline, the subheadline. Now it's the meat. Okay, the actual the middle bit. All right. Um, in the body, the job of the body, the educate part of the formula is here. We must build a very strong case. We must adequately persuade the prospect that we are the best option. And telling them this isn't enough. So we can't just tell them that we are the number one choice. We must show it beyond doubt. So think about it like a court case. We must build a case so strong that it's almost undeniable. So we have to really remove any objections. We'll talk about this more in the next lesson, but we have to build a case so strong that the prospect sees you as the only as the only option, the best option, the obvious choice. And we do this, by again using the benefits instead of the features. We talk about how what we're offering them can benefit them. And remember the benefit within the benefit. So you don't just necessarily help them make money, but the benefit of that, it gives them more time and more freedom to spend with their family. And again, in the body, we have to again address their pain and their problem, because we have to clearly paint it out. So this is like the framework of your body, the body of your copy. So you want to show them their pain, you want to identify it. This is the big problem you're having right now. And then you want to identify, highlight their goals and their dreams, where they want to get to. So right now they're struggling with online marketing, and where they want to get to is to have a automated passive income. And then you need to explain and prove why your solution is going to bridge the gap between point A and point B. And along the way, you also need to demonstrate why it's unique, why it's different to everything else out there, why you can be trusted, and why they need this. So these are all elements that you're going to learn in the next lesson, how you can begin to build this into your copy. But at this point, it's just important that you understand that these are the elements that you need within your copy. Again, what makes this different? And you have to really prove why you are the answer. So you want to really focus on one hot button at a time. That's why I was talking about the one big idea. You want to just focus on one hot button at a time. And the flow of your body can be like problem, solution, action. We're going to talk about this more in the next lesson, but basically we highlight the problem, the big problem they're having, and then we talk about the solution, and then we talk about taking some sort of action. Okay, and I'll show you exactly how that works in the next lesson. Now, action, of course, you need to finish all your messaging with a call to action. You really want to make an offer that they just can't refuse. So you really want to make it a no-brainer. You won't believe how many times I see marketing messages without a call to action. You always want to keep them taking some sort of action, even if it's downloading something or sharing something, liking something. And you want to build up as much ROI and value into your offer. So just stack the value, add bonuses, and always think about it in terms of the return on investment. So you want to think it is though, like, even though they're spending some money to have your product or service, the benefit is going to bring them is, you know, they're going to get back 500 times their investment, because they're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. All right. So always think about in terms of ROI. And usually you want to offer a low end offer, less resistance. That's why free and low ticket works very well. Once you get them inside your funnel, inside your ecosystem, then really you can begin to upsell and sell higher value things. If you're selling something high ticket, then you need to You basically need to stack enough value so it seems like they're saving a lot of money, and you could do that with bonuses and so forth. Remember, your prospect will never take action until you ask them to do so. So you need to give them a really good reason, and always add scarcity where possible. So when you're making the offer, you can perhaps make it a limited time or limited slots. Scarcity always works very well. So I've included a lot of call to action examples in the download section so you can check them out. Now, finally, I've produced a messaging checklist for you so we can recap this all. I don't need to go over it here again, but this is your checklist. You can download it. The next time you write some sort of message or a sales letter or a post, particularly you need to go through this checklist and see if you've completed each one of the things. So this is the formula, the AEDA formula. You have the complete checklist there, and you can just go through each one and make sure that you're doing all of these things. Okay, so this is your basic formula for messaging and sales copy. Download it, keep it, and think about it. Okay, you want to keep this with all your marketing material. And one thing we need to think about is you want to be checking the font, the headline, and make all of that conducive to the buying environment. Okay, excuse me, because for example, if you're writing an email, then you'd obviously want to use a different type of text, or if you're selling a certain type of high ticket product, then you want to use a different type of font. So you want to think about that as well. Okay, but this is your messaging checklist. I'm not going to go through it here because you can obviously read it. It's a checklist. You can download it, and every time you write a bit of copy, then you can go through it. All right. And I've added some resources here. I'll add to this, but it's always good to spy on others and see what others are doing with their sales copy. Now that you know the basics of it, you have a much better idea. And I've also included some names there of some big marketers. So that concludes the first lesson. I hope you learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing you on the second lesson, which is how to structure your sales copy. So thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next lesson.